This is one that came in. And by the way, these are all anonymous. This is one that came in from email. If you're in a relationship with someone and you've yet to meet certain family members that are on social media and they quote friend request you, do you accept a friend request before you meet them? Alternatively, is it okay to quote friend request them before you meet them? I'd love to know for casual and serious relationships, if different at all. So, certain family members, you've not met them yet. Do you accept their friend request before you've met them? And is it okay to friend somebody else before you've met them, casual or serious relationships?
You're talking about family members and relatives of the person you're dating. Incoming and outbound.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What's the etiquette? And does it even change by social media like platform? That's another layer that you could dive into if you wanted.
This all gets way more complicated than I think it ought to be. My first reaction, because it's not like I haven't had social media, I just don't care. And so like my answer is like, yeah, sure, why not? Go ahead. They send you a request. Okay. Like that's my answer. My answer is why wouldn't you? I don't get it. I don't understand why not.
Well, let's say, so I think if I'm reading this, I think there could be a certain level of uncomfortability. If you're the person maybe dating somebody and you're getting random friend requests from like people in their family you haven't met before you've even met them, you're now thinking about what's on your social media channel and profile and what you're posting with your significant other, like family you've not even met yet. There's no part of that that's even a little uncomfortable for you.
No, I guess I really don't understand. Maybe I just undervalue social media when it comes to such things.
Yeah. I struggle with this one too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I figure, because if you know, I figure if I know who the person is, then I probably, for me personally, know enough about them, because this sort of thing has happened to me before, and I didn't think about it much. I just said yeah, and then went about my day. Like,
well, maybe you don't really know them. So what do you do then?
If I don't know them, then I don't friend anybody that I don't know.
So it's just that easy. Like, oh, I've heard of that relative, even though I've never met him. I'll just hit yes.
Yeah. Or at least I've never personally had a situation where that hasn't been the case.
It's hard for me to put myself in these shoes because I didn't date during the days of social media. And if I did date, I was probably dating with the intention of like finding a serious relationship. So to casually date, I was never like one to participate in like hookup culture. So like, I'm thinking about if that's going on, that might be different because, you know, random friends or family members of theirs are reaching out to you. But I'm kind of with Kendall, like, and another reason it's hard for me to put myself in these shoes is because I don't have anything on my social media that I wouldn't want anybody, I would care that anybody sees, except maybe the things I say on this podcast and coworkers. So if somebody's going to friend request me, I'll just accept it. But I also don't think it matters all that much. Like, it's not changing your relationship with the person or the person you're dating all that much. You're just now friends on a social media platform, and you can unfollow and unsubscribe to them at any moment. So it's hard for me to think of a scenario where this would be a big deal. That's a better way of saying it.
I think there's another version. I think there's another version of this too, where you don't accept or decline. And then if they try to add you again, it's like your friend request is still out there. And so you know that they use the platform, but you've never said yes or no. And so I think the variables are maybe we don't have content that we're embarrassed of. Maybe, and frankly, we've probably all even got some family we don't even really want to be connected with on social media, let alone somebody else's family. So I'm thinking like you might not know if that's the crazy person in the other person's family yet that you want to even be connected with. I think there's a lot of variable. You almost have to ask the significant other, like, hey, so and so friended me on, social media. I guess the closer you are with them, the more likely they are to go, oh, maybe. Yeah, you can ignore that.
Or I feel like I have to ask some Gen Zers this question.
Maybe because I agree. The more we talk about it, the more it sounds like middle school gossipy kind of stuff that I just like that I still am just like, why is this a thing?
Why does it matter? Yeah.
We're adults.
If anybody listening does have an opinion on this, feel free to let us know.
Yes, please.
Yes, because I'm willing to say that I just legitimately am not in the world nearly as seriously as a lot of other people are. And so I'm willing to say I don't know and I don't get it.
Yeah.
All right. So this is let's see. This is adjacent to that question, and we can gloss over this if you feel like it's too similar. What do you do about a friend request for a family member's significant other or people that you've just met? How long do you wait to add them on social media, if at all? As an example, my significant other has a cousin who just got married. I've met the cousin, but have not met their new spouse. Do I friend request the new spouse? My sibling and I have different family members that we are connected with on social media because there doesn't seem to be a clear consensus on who to add and who not to add. Another example might be a new friend that you met through a significant other, someone at work, or just out and about. So like this one is really extended family, kind of a similar question, but like really extended family, new friends that you've just met, friend of a friend. Is there any thought that goes into like, does it seem weird to add?
So the best example for us, Dylan, might be when our younger stepbrothers were dating. If their girlfriend friend requested us, that can be one layer. And then I really like the last part, which is someone you met at work or you were just out and about to friend request them. That's a really interesting, I think we could look at that lens. The rest of it feels similar to the first question.
Okay. Those came in together. So feel free to play with those as much as you want.
So I have friend requested ex-girlfriends of my stepbrothers, and I'm still friends with them on social media. But again, I had positive interactions with them the handful of times they came over to family get-togethers. It's interesting seeing their lives now. Some of them have gone on and gotten married. And it's just like, these were people my brother knew in his class, and I had a handful of interactions with them. The one like coworkers is a really interesting one to me because some people are really against that. And other people, the minute you get hired on, like I just got hired onto this team at Amazon. The minute I got hired on, some were reaching out on LinkedIn and social media. And I don't think that's weird, but I think others, if I did that, would think that was really weird. And it depends on the age of the coworker too. Like if they're a little older, to reach out to a coworker you just met who's like a little bit older and like see pictures of the inside of their house and their family and like what they look like in their Saturday lounging clothes feels a little weird for some, and I can appreciate that. But my general rule is if they're reaching out to me, I'll accept it.
But the question is, would you give yourself a self-guided tour through their home? Okay. I think it's funny that you mentioned it because I think LinkedIn is different than like all the private social
100%. Totally agree.
As an example, anytime somebody new starts at my company that I work at, because it's still relatively small, if I see that they've had done like hey, I just started working at tag company, I generally just add them. Like that's like we're going to be coworkers no matter how close or not. It's so that one for me is different if the professional side of it comes up. But yeah, I don't I'm trying to think. I've been at my company for almost 3 years, and I think I've added 0 people on Facebook. Like, or I don't have Instagram. I don't have a private Instagram or Twitter, or I don't have TikTok or whatever. So it's pretty much you're catching me LinkedIn or Facebook. So like I've added 0 people from my company on, and there are probably people that I could easily friend request, but I've added none. And I don't know why. That's part of the question people are looking for.
I've been here 18 months, and I'd say between a third and half, we are friends on Facebook. Some came to me, and some I reached out.
So what's the difference?
I guess I just make a judgment on how comfortable I think they would be with it based on our level of familiarity at work. Like, I might not call them bro, but I would reach out on social media. And I hate to say it, but their age does come into play. If they're like an older or more senior person, I probably wouldn't unless they initiated it. But I just typically just follow suit in that.
Do you think it's maybe similar ages that you've had like maybe more fun conversing with? Do you think that's like the easiest parameter? Like, people that you've not chatted with as much might add you, and you didn't think to add them because you've not enjoyed conversations with them as much. That seems like the most basic like barrier for entry for wanting to add somebody. I work with this person. We have lots of good conversations. I'll go ahead and add them.
Yeah.
I think personality, I think, probably plays a lot into this as well. So like there's a lot of people, including myself, who are just introverted and are far less likely to be the first person to introduce themselves to someone else. Usually it's someone else spotting me and introducing themselves to me. And the same goes with requesting. Like I'm far slower to request a friend than I am to accept a friend request.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the world I live in. And I mean, there are people who are on the other side of that coin. And people like me rely on those people to even have friends in the first place.
That's a good point.
So there's another one. So there's a question for you is, so when you started working at your job, were you the first one to send a request to somebody, or did you wait until people started? Well, you said it happened right away. People started sending you friend requests.
It was about 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah. I sent a handful
no,
out.
I mean like friend request 0, like the one that started the ball rolling, that said to you, hey, it's okay for me to start asking these people to be my friends now. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, like there's a comfortable, there's like a waiting period. If it's too soon, it's weird.
At some point it went from these people are not my friends on social media to, okay, the ball has started rolling, I can go ahead and start requesting now.
Yeah, I don't know what that time frame is, but if I say to either of you, you start a new job, you meet some new cool person named Susan or Tom, and that night you go home and send them a friend request.
That's so
a little fast.
So weird. Well, that was going to be my own spin-off question based on this question, right? People who join clubs or organizations or a church. If like you visited a church and add the lead pastor and the associate pastor and the youth pastor and the worship leader, I'd be like, what's up with this person? It would just look suspect. Like, that's really fast to do that, to do something like that. Yeah. It's like the unspoken rule.
It's like, I'm following all y'all on TikTok. Keep the videos up.
Similarly, if you visit someplace or a church or an organization and the lead pastor friend requests you the next day, you're like, oh, I'm going to get a mug and some mail.
Well, yeah, but it's like, Pastor Jason Thomas - Church of whatever profile page. Like, it's not his private page. It's the page of him as a pastor and whatever. It's always that one. So clearly there's etiquette in here, because if I say you add people the same day you start a new job, you go, ooh. So there's something in there, but I think the answer is if it's family or extended family or family of significant other, it probably doesn't matter. If it's new friends, people you just met at a golf tournament, at a restaurant, at a whatever, or work friends, there's probably some
considerations.
There's probably some considerations or a buffer period on that. Good.